Good evening, and thanks for joining us. For many BC families struggling with the spiraling cost of living, the forecast doesn't offer much relief. Economists don't expect inflation to come down for at least a year. Inflation's at a 31-year high as profits for companies that provide essential goods soar. That has some wondering if consumers are being gouged. CTV's Ben Milger joins us live with more. Ben, are companies taking advantage of us to increase their profits?
Mi-Jung, we put that question to a retail analyst and an economics professor, hoping to find out whether the high inflation is really being caused by labor and supply shortages or corporate greed. It turns out the answer might lie somewhere in the middle. If you buy the groceries for your household, you've probably had sticker shock in the produce section, the dairy aisle, and at the meat counter.
Yeah, definitely fruit and vegetables have gotten a lot more expensive, meats as well.
He's right. Nationally, inflation was up 6.7% in March compared to last year, hitting families in the pocketbook at a time when wages remain stagnant.
It's real expensive, yeah. I'm a single parent of 2 kids, and it's not cheap, you know? I can notice it on my budget, you know what I mean?
While working-class Canadians make difficult choices in order to feed their families, it's a different story for corporate shareholders closely watching their portfolios.
There's also a little bit of profiteering going on. So some companies will say, hey, you know what, inflation's up 7%. Let's make sure we raise our prices because we're going to get less pushback right now.
Loblaw, Canada's largest grocery company with brands like Superstore, TNT, and No Frills, made a profit of $459 million in the first quarter, up 17% over last year. The company strongly disputes it is gouging Canadians, saying the grocery industry is one of the lowest margin sectors in the entire country and is now facing a range of unusual inflationary forces. Last quarter, we made less than 4 cents for every $1 we sold. For reference, our higher recent profits were driven by higher margin sales, like cosmetics, not food.
These companies are in business to make profits, and that's what they're supposed to do for their shareholders. And the profits also allow them to make further investments down the road, and that's actually crucially important.
For many average Canadians pinching pennies at the register, it sure looks unfair.
They're making profit. They could pass it on to us, consumers, you know, but they don't. They just keep it for themselves.
StatsCan is set to release the April numbers tomorrow. The analysts we spoke to expect inflation to remain in the 6 to 7% range, as high as it's been since 1991, and they don't expect it to come down to more normal levels for at least a year, maybe 2. Mi-Jung?